The world was broken. Cities were gone. Skies were gray. Roads were full of dust and silence. Nothing moved except the wind. Machines were dead. No more internet. No more cars. No more governments. Only ruins. Only memory. But deep in the middle of an old ruined city, one small fire still burned. His name was Jocks. He was the last known human in this part of Earth, and he ran a food stall. It was not much, just a rusty metal cart with a big iron pot, solar panels strapped to the roof, and a few shelves filled with old canned goods and strange ingredients he had found in abandoned labs. A handwritten sign still hung crooked on the side. Jocks's Kitchen, open if you're hungry. No one had read it in months. Jax didn't speak much anymore. He cooked in silence. Each morning, he boiled water. He added what little he had: beans, old spices, some powder he once found in a military box. The food was strange, but it smelled good. Warm, alive. He didn't know why he still cooked. Maybe for hope. Maybe to feel human. But one day, something changed. It started with a sound. Not wind. Not rain. Footsteps. Jax grabbed his old steel ladle and waited. Then, from behind the broken wall, they appeared three figures, tall and glowing slightly in the shadows. They weren't human. Their skin shimmered like silver water. Their eyes were large, glowing blue. They wore robes that looked grown, not sewn. They moved slowly, like they were weak. One of them stepped forward. A girl, tall, slender, and beautiful, in a strange, alien way. Her lips trembled as she spoke in broken English. Please, food. Jocks blinked. He was ready to run or fight. But then, she knelt. Her hands opened to show a small glowing stone. I give this. Just one bowl. Jocks looked at the stone. It pulsed softly. It looked valuable. But more than that, it looked alive. He didn't ask questions. He poured soup into an old bowl and gave it to her. She took one bite and her eyes widened. The other two stepped forward, begging for more. They had nothing but small alien trinkets, metal feathers, soft crystals, and even a strange key that floated. Jax served them each a bowl. The alien girls sat by the fire, silent, eating with slow joy, like they hadn't eaten in years. When they finished, one of them whispered, "You don't know what this food does to us." Jocks raised an eyebrow. "It's just stew." The alien girl smiled. "To humans, yes. To us, it wakes something." That night, Jocks didn't sleep. He sat by the fire, staring at the stones and trinkets they gave him. He didn't understand them. But something about the way those girls ate, the way they stared at him afterward, felt different. Strange. Not just hunger. Not just taste. Like the food touched something deeper. The next day more came. 5 this time. All alien, all female. Different shapes. Different worlds. But the same look in their eyes. Tonker. Jax had just enough to feed them. Again, they offered strange items. One even offered her own armor. "This food is like fire in memory. It feels like home," she whispered. Jax asked, "Why are you all here? What do you want from Earth?" One of them leaned close. Her voice was soft. "We followed the signal. Your food gave off a frequency. A call. We thought it was a weapon, but it was a gift." Jocks didn't understand, but deep inside he knew something was changing. Not just in the aliens, but in the world. Far above, in the black sky of space, a signal blinked. In a giant alien ship orbiting Earth, a figure stood watching a screen. "The source has activated," said a deep voice. Another responded. "Send a message to the High Matrons. The last chef has lit the fire." It wasn't just food anymore. Lyra, the silver-skinned alien girl, woke in the middle of the night shaking. Not from cold, not from fear, but from something inside her. Her heartbeat raced. Her body felt hot. Her fingers glowed faint blue. She touched her lips where the soup had burned warmly just hours ago, and she whispered, "Why does human food do this to me?" Jocks didn't sleep that night either. He stared at the glowing stone Lyra had given him. It pulsed like a tiny heart. His food stall, once just survival, now felt like something more. Something ... important. Like a beacon. And when morning came, he understood why the horizon moved. First, it looked like mist. But soon he saw outlines, dozens of shapes walking across the wasteland. Tall, graceful, alien. More alien girls. More hunger. They came in silence. Some limped. Some carried weapons. Others dropped to their knees in front of Jocks's stall. "We traveled across 3 moons. One said, 'Your food called to us in our dreams.' Another said, We offer blood, bones, jewels. Just one spoon. Jox stood there, confused. What do you mean, cold to you? The tallest among them stepped forward. Her body was wrapped in a suit of glassy black scales. Her voice was smooth and deep. You don't know what you're cooking, do you, human? Jox frowned. It's just stew. No, she said. It's memory, it's heat, it's power. Your food wakes something lost in our kind, something buried. He cooked for them, but one pot, then two, then three. The smell of spices and steam filled the dead city. Alien girls sat around the fire, trading weapons, knowledge, even kisses on each other's hands for a bowl of Jox's food. But it wasn't just the taste. They changed after eating. One began singing in a voice that shook the air. Another started levitating small stones without noticing. A third cried for hours, saying she remembered her mother for the first time in 50 years. Lyra, the first alien girl, touched Jox's arm. Gently, you don't know this, she said, but something is inside your food. Something that bonds to us. It's not just ingredients. It's you, me, Jox asked. Yes, you are human, your body, your thoughts, your hands. They're the missing element. That night, Jox watched them dance around the fire toll, glowing figures from across the stars, laughing and crying, eating and remembering. He didn't understand all of it, but he knew something strange was happening, and far above Earth. Someone else knew too. On the command deck of a warship hidden in orbit, a cold-eyed commander watched the live feed from a drone. Behind her stood a giant figure in a white robe. His skin was red and cracked like lava. Is the signal confirmed? The giant asked. Yes, the commander said. The humans' food is working. The aliens are being changed. Prepare the harvest teams. That food, belongs to the Empire. Back on Earth, Lyra sat beside Jox. More will come, she said. Some for taste, some for power, and some to take. Jox looked out over the glowing city ruins. His stall still smoked with heat and smell. His hands still burned from cooking all day. What do I do? He asked. Lyra looked into his eyes. Keep cooking. The sky cracked open like an egg. Jax didn't move. He stood at the food stall, his ladle frozen midair. Above him, the clouds split with a bright golden line like lightning, but slow and alive. The alien girls around his stall fell silent. Then, a ship appeared. Not like the small scout vessels before. This one was huge, floating like a palace in the air, its edges shining like mirrors. It didn't roar. It hummed, calm and dangerous, like it didn't need to shout to be feared. One of the alien girls whispered, trembling, "She's here." Jox narrowed his eyes. "Who's she?" The girl answered without turning her head. "The matron, Queen of Seta. She rules 13 systems, and she doesn't travel without purpose." The ship landed outside the ruined city. A ramp extended, like a silver tongue. Dozens of armored alien guards marched out, forming 2 rows. Then she stepped down. She wasn't just beautiful, she was terrifying. Her body shimmered like glass filled with stars. Her gown looked like it was woven from light. Her crown floated, slightly above her head, made from bone, gold, and glowing stone. Her eyes, they didn't just look at you, they read you. She walked directly to the food stall, past all the guards, and stopped in front of Jox. "You are the one," she said. Jax raised an eyebrow. "The one who makes stew?" "No," she said. "The one who has changed the hunger of my people." Jox didn't know what to say. He just handed her a bowl. She didn't eat it right away. She held it carefully, almost with respect. Then she dipped one elegant finger in, touched it to her tongue and froze. Her eyes turned bright. Her knees bent slightly. Her lips parted. In shock. "It's real," she whispered. "The flavor, it remembers." Jox tilted his head. "It remembers what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she turned to her guards and spoke in a language Jox didn't understand. But the message was clear. No one else was to touch the food. The queen turned back to him. "I want a dish, a special one, not just stew. A meal from your people's past. A forgotten taste. The kind made for kings, for gods." Jox scratched his beard. "Most of those recipes are lost. I only know a few simple ones." She stepped closer. "I will give you anything," she said. "Weapons, knowledge, a planet. But if you give me that dish, I will protect this place. Forever." Jox looked around. The stall, the girls, the glowing stones and broken city. He nodded once. "I'll try." That night, Jox worked like a man possessed. He built a bigger fire, dug through boxes he had saved, Opened old books and notes from before the world ended. He found ingredients he never used before. A tiny sealed jar marked saffron. A bag of rice labeled royal grain. Even a spice called sumac, which he'd never dared to open. As he cooked, the smell changed. It wasn't just food, now it was history, emotion, power. Alien girls began to cry when the scent reached them. One knelt and said, "I don't know this smell, but it feels like home." Jocks didn't speak. He just cooked. And in the shadows of the broken buildings, new visitors arrived, others who didn't look hungry. They looked hungry for control. Up on the Queen's ship, her advisors watched from behind glass walls. "He is dangerous," one of them said. "No," the Queen replied. "He is sacred." Another growled, "What if he feeds our enemies?" The Queen narrowed her eyes. "Then we must make sure no one else eats, unless I say so." Back at the stall, Jocks finished the dish. He served the Queen first. She ate it slowly, bite after bite. Her expression changed from curiosity to wonder, then to something close to pain. She set the bowl down. Her voice was calm. "This dish is powerful," she said, "and dangerous." Jocks crossed his arms. "You still want it?" The Queen smiled slowly. "Now, I need it." But behind her, in the far distance, hidden in smoke and stars, another ship had arrived. One without banners, one without mercy. The smell of Jocks's food had reached more than just the hungry. It had reached the greedy. The first explosion didn't hit the food stall. It hit the sky. A sudden red flash tore through the clouds, shaking the air. Birds, what few remained, scattered. The ground trembled. Alien girls screamed. The pot on Jocks's fire tipped slightly, and a small splash of stew fell into the flames. The fire turned green for 2 seconds. Then it roared. Jocks ducked behind the stall, gripping a metal shield made from an old oven door. "What the hell was that?" he yelled. Lyra, the silver alien girl, pulled him up. "It's the harvesters," she said. "They don't ask. They take." More explosions followed. Strange black ships flew low, between the broken buildings, blasting anything that moved. They weren't here to eat. They were here to steal the source. The stew. Just hours before, the city had been glowing with warmth and strange peace. Jocks's food had drawn hundreds of alien girls, warriors, workers, royalty, all sitting side by side, trading memories, offering gifts, even singing. But now, the smoke of war replaced the smell of food. A harvester ship landed fast, right beside the food stall. The door hissed open, and armored figures stepped out, tall, cold. Their suits looked like bone and steel fused together. One of them stepped forward and spoke in a machine voice, "Human, you will give us the stew. All of it." Jocks stood up. "It's just soup." "No, it is the flame of change. We detected energy spikes, cognitive shifts, genetic reactions. This food is a weapon." Jocks stared. "It's a meal. That's it." The soldier raised a gun. "Then you will not mind if we take it by force." Lyra grabbed Jocks's hand. "Run," she said. But Jocks didn't move. Instead, he turned around and stared at his pot, the stew now bubbling hotter than ever. The splash that had touched the fire earlier was glowing at the bottom. The scent was stronger, the color deeper. It wasn't just stew anymore. It was alive. Jax dipped his ladle into the glowing pot. The liquid shimmered. He turned back to the alien soldier and threw the ladle's contents directly into the harvester's face. There was no fire, no blast, just silence. Then the soldier dropped his weapon and stood still, eyes wide. His body trembled. He whispered, "I remember my name." Then he fell to his knees. The other harvesters stepped back in confusion. One tried to shoot, but Lyra moved faster. Her hand shimmered with light. A beam of energy burst from her palm and knocked him back. She gasped, "I couldn't do that before." Jocks's eyes widened. "What did I cook?" The fight spread quickly. Alien girls from the crowd rushed forward. Some had strength. Some had light powers. Some moved faster than ever. All of them had eaten Jocks's stew in the past week. The food wasn't just warm anymore. It was changing them, awakening something ancient, maybe even hidden inside their DNA. The fire was now blue. The stew pot boiled like a storm. Jack shouted, "Back away from the stall." Another harvester ship fell from the sky, shot down by a beam of energy. From one of the alien girls, screams, fire, echoes. And through it all, the smell of Jocks's food stayed strong. Hours later, when the last harvester ship fled, the city fell quiet again. Bodies of broken machines lay scattered. Alien girls helped each other up, Some cried, some glowed faintly. Jock sat beside the fire, tired, sweaty, his hands burned. Lyra sat beside him. The stew saved us. No, Jock said. You all did. She looked at the pot. But the food gave us power. It made us more. Jocks stared into the glowing stew. The surface was smooth, calm, like it had a soul. He said quietly, we have a problem now. What others will come? Not just harvesters. If this food changes people, someone will try to control it. Lyra nodded slowly. But for now, she said, smiling softly, you saved us with a spoon. In the deep night sky, far above the broken city, a signal was received by a hidden council. They watched the battle through satellite lenses. They saw the stew glow. They saw the harvester fall. A voice said, it has begun. The flame cook has awakened. Another voice answered, then send the collector. We must taste it before the universe burns. She didn't eat the stew. She scanned it. Inside Jox's tent, Lyra sat with a strange black device glowing in her hands. It pulsed as it hovered above a small bowl of the leftover stew. Jox watched from the corner, wiping soot off his arms. You're sure this will tell us something? He asked. Lyra didn't look up. This scanner was banned by 4 empires. It reads energy, memory, and even genetic patterns. She paused. Her eyes narrowed. It's picking up something. Impossible. Outside, the city ruins were quiet again. After the harvester attack, most of the alien girls stayed close to the food stall. They no longer came just for hunger. They came to protect the flame. Jox's stew had given them strength, visions, and emotions they thought were lost forever. But now, Lyra had found something else, hidden in the stew. She looked up at Jox. Her voice was low. There's a code inside it. Jox frowned. A code? Like numbers? No, more like a map. But not for a place. For a recipe. A very old one. Not human. Not alien either. Something older. Jox stepped closer. It come from. I only used old human spices, water, and some things I found in ruins. Lyra nodded. That's what makes it scary. Something inside those old cans. Those powders. They were seeded with information. By who? Lyra's voice dropped to a whisper. Someone who wanted you to find it. Someone who wanted this dish to wake the galaxy. Later that night, Lyra showed him what she had decoded. A strange symbol, like a spiral made from stars, appeared in the air. Then coordinates. They pointed not to Earth but to a dead zone in space called the Hollow Fork, a place feared by most alien races. Ships that entered there never returned. And beneath the coordinates, one message appeared. Flame requires the final taste. Jox stared at the words. What final taste? Lyra shook her head. That's what we need to find out. The next morning, a new visitor arrived. She walked through the ruins alone, wearing a robe of vines and leaves. Her skin looked like wood, her eyes like black pearls. She didn't speak until she reached the stall. Then she said only 4 words. I heard the recipe. Jox blinked. Heard it? Yes, she said. In my roots, in my blood, it called me across 4 galaxies. She reached into her robe and placed a seed on the table. It was warm, glowing softly. This is from the memory tree, she said. It can help you finish the dish, but it comes at a price. What price? You must cook it, she said, in the hollow fork. Lyra's eyes widened. That's suicide. The woman smiled. It's destiny. Jock stared at the seed. He remembered his mother's old kitchen. The smell of garlic. The sound of boiling water. The way food made people forget pain. Back then, he cooked to stay human. Now, he cooked to keep the galaxy alive. Lyra stepped beside him. We go together, she said. But we need protection. Jox looked around. The alien girls were already packing, sharpening weapons, preparing supplies. They'll come, he said. In the sky above, a shadow moved. The collector ship had arrived. Unlike the harvesters, it didn't shoot or scream. It watched. It waited. Its crew didn't eat food. They collected food souls. And now, they wanted the flame. But Jox didn't fear them anymore. He stirred the pot slowly. The memory seed ready in his hand. And for the first time, the stew whispered back. She took one bite then screamed. Her voice wasn't just loud. It cracked stone. It bent metal. The sound pushed dust into the sky. Jax dropped his spoon. Lyra rushed forward. The other alien girls stepped back in fear. The one who screamed her name was Solrahad, begged Jox for a taste of the new stew. The one he made using the memory seed. She swore she could handle it. She couldn't. Sora collapsed, eyes glowing, body shaking. Symbols danced across her skinwards in no known language. She wasn't dying. She was remembering something that wasn't hers. Jox grabbed her shoulders. What's happening to her? Lyra checked her pulse. The seed unlocked something inside her. A memory older than her species. Something forbidden. Jox felt his hands tremble. I didn't mean to hurt her. I just followed the recipe. The stew had changed again. It was no longer brown. It shimmered with layers of color: green, gold, red, and black. When stirred, it sang like soft whispers. Lyra stared at it with fear and awe. This isn't just food anymore. It's a message, alive, and now it's choosing. Choosing what? Jox asked. Lyra answered slowly. Who's allowed to eat it? Word spread fast. That night, many alien girls came begging for a spoonful of the forbidden stew. Some fell to the ground, shaking like Sora. Others glowed with power. One girl, after one bite, began to float above the fire. Another dropped her weapons and cried like a child. Each one reacted differently. JX realized something important. The stew didn't give the same thing to everyone. It gave what was hidden deep inside them. But not all were ready to face that. Not everyone came for food now. Some came for control. A new ship landed in the city ruins. Black, quiet, cold. The symbol of the silent monks was burned into its side. They were feared across galaxies. They didn't speak. They erased. Two monks walked silently to Jox's stall. They looked at the pot. One of them finally spoke, his voice dry like paper. You cooked the memory of the universe. That is sin. Jox stared. It's just stew. The monk shook his head. It is truth, and truth is dangerous. Stop cooking it, or be erased. Jox looked at Lyra. She nodded once. He said, no. The monk didn't argue. He simply reached out and touched the stall. It began to vanish, not burn, not break. Vanish like it was being. Unwritten. JAX threw a spoonful of the stew at the monk's arm. It touched him, and he froze. His body shimmered. His mouth opened. He gasped. I had a brother, he whispered. I forgot him. I erased him. And then he dropped to his knees. The other monk turned and walked away. That night, no one slept. JAX sat beside the fire, staring into the pot. The stew was still bubbling, still whispering. But now, it asked him questions. Do you want peace? Do you want power? Do you want truth, or silence? He didn't answer. Not yet. The next morning, Lyra looked up at the stars. The path to the hollow fork is now open, she said. The stew showed me in a dream. Is it safe? Jox asked. She shook her head. No. But it's the only way to cook the final taste. Jox looked around at the alien girls. Some wore armor. Some carried weapons. All of them had eaten the stew. All had changed. They didn't just follow him now. They believed in him. Far in space. The collector ship finally moved. Its commander, hidden in shadow, opened a sealed case. Inside was a silver spoon made from starbone. He whispered, prepare to collect the final bite. And across the stars, something ancient stirred. The pot was empty. Jock stared into it like it had betrayed him. No glow, no bubbles, no whispers. Just silence. The last stew was gone. Every drop served. Every spoon licked clean. And now, they were at the edge of the galaxy. The hollow fork. It wasn't a place. It was a wound. A broken corner of space, where stars didn't shine. Time bent. Gravity twisted. Ships were lost here. Memories unraveled here. Even gods feared this place. But Jox stood on the deck of an old carrier, surrounded by alien girls who followed him through war, wonder, and impossible meals. And Lyra, his closest companion, stood by his side, in her hands. A small black box. Inside it. One seed. The final ingredient. JX spoke quietly. This one doesn't go in a pot, does it? Lyra shook her head. No fire, no water, no spices. This final taste must be cooked in you. Jox blinked. What? She opened the box. The seed floated out. Small and glowing with soft light. And it pulsed to his heartbeat. I don't understand, he whispered. Lyra looked into his eyes. This whole time, it wasn't about the stew. Not really. The food was the flame, but you were the stove. Your kindness. Your memory. Your hope. The way you cook. It's not just skill. It's soul. The seed melted in the air. It turned into light and entered Jox's chest. He gasped, dropping to one knee. Heat flooded through him. He saw visions, thousands of alien races, all connected by one thread. Hunger for meaning. Just food. Connection. Memory. feeling. The final taste wasn't for the tongue. It was for the heart. His eyes glowed. His eyes glowed. His breath slowed. His hands moved on their own. He picked up one bowl, empty. He filled it with nothing. He walked to the center of the ship. Alien girls gathered around him in silence. Then he held out the bowl. Lyra took it. She didn't ask questions. She ate nothing and cried. One by one, they came. They took the last bite. A bite of memory, of peace, of forgotten warmth. No ingredients. Just trust. Just love. Then the collector ship arrived. Dark. Silent. It hovered above the hollow fork. The collector descended, a tall being, with skin like silver ink. No face, only a mouth. I've come for the final dish, it said. Jax didn't move. It's already been served. The collector sneered. Then you die with it. But Lyra stepped forward. No, she said. He became it. The collector attacked. But something strange happened. As it moved forward, it smelled something. A stew, not in the air but in memory. It dropped to its knees, and it wept. The collector whispered, I remember the taste of my mother's hands. Then, it vanished into light. Silence again. The hollow fork closed, and Jocks. He collapsed, smiling. He awoke days later. Back at his stall, the world was still ruined, but not empty. Alien girls now lived here. Rebuilding, laughing, singing. And his stall was rebuilt new, stronger. A long line already formed. Lyra handed him a ladle. Hungry? She asked. Jax smiled. Always.